Hello, and once again, a warm welcome to Dushanbe in Tajikistan at the Central Republican Stadium for AFC Women's Asian Cup qualifiers between Indonesia and Singapore. The second time in 4 days that these two teams will be facing off in what is essentially a straight shootout for qualification to next year's Asian Cup for women. Indonesia, of course, won that first one 1-0, and we'll have team news for this one after the anthems.
And now, the national anthem of Singapore.
A very determined bunch of lionesses who know what they have to do, win or go home. That is the equation. And if they do it, of course, what an achievement that would be, qualifying for the Asian Cup. The first time they would have done that since 2003 for Indonesia as well. It's gone even longer than that. The last time they qualified was in 1989, although they have had a bunch of experience, or slightly more experience, than Singapore at international tournaments in recent times. They, of course, took part at the SEA Games. They also took part in the Asian Games that happened in Indonesia a couple of years ago. The Indonesian coach there on your screen, the happier, I'm sure, of the two coaches coming into this one with a little less pressure, having won the first game, as opposed to his counterpart, Stefan Ng, who said after the last game he was happy, that the determination, and he felt that they competed well against the Indonesians, who, as they expected, were tough opponents. He did feel that they took too long to settle down. Of course, Indonesia scoring very, very early on in that game after 3 minutes from a corner, and they threatened quite a number of times from set pieces, the Indonesians, it must be said. And you would have to say, based on the play and the match, the last one, they were good value for their victory, the Indonesians. As we see their starting lineups, they've made 2 changes to the first game. Fani in goal, Vivi Octaviani, Adi Mustihiana, 21 years old, she captains the side, very experienced even for her relatively young age. Tia Dati, Octavianti, who's one of the new ones, along with Rani, Vinny Silvanus, Helsia, Safira Kaputri, Baya Amiatun, who scored, and up front will be Zara Muzdalifa for the Indonesians. And we can confirm the Singapore lineups now. A couple of changes as well. Kusumawati continues in goal. The defense unchanged as well. So a second cap for Noh Hidayu, who was very impressive on debut in their first match. Fatin Akila, Ernie Sulastri, and Noh Shazwani at the back. Noh Farhana keeps her place on the right wing. Venetia Lim again will start in the center, but this time alongside Laila Tan, 18-year-old, the Lion City Sailors player who will make her debut tonight. Dorcas Chu comes in as well to the starting 11 after being quite energetic in the second half on the left flank. A start as well for Noor Rauda Kamis, who will play just behind Danelle Tan, the 16-year-old. And Noor Rauda Kamis coming into this side to give a little bit more firepower. Danelle, for long periods, seemed a little bit isolated in the first match. So hopefully Noor Rauda Kamis, who is a very, very good player. She was Women's National League Player of the Year. She's been top scorer for Tiong Bahru, so she does have goals, 5 international goals as well, already in her 19 caps. So hopefully she will be able to provide a bit more of a link up with Danelle and bring the midfield, or bridge the gap between midfield and the attacking intent that the Singaporeans have. But I think one of the biggest things that they would have to look at, as we see the pictures just sort of freezing up a little, and we hope that these will get sorted as the match is about to kick off. These problems are inherent from the source, from Tajikistan, so we do apologize as you watch these or watch this match and have enjoyed these games. We're just hoping that the feed will stabilize. Again, our apologies, we are working very hard with the team in Tajikistan to try to get these pictures sorted out as soon as we can. A long loopy ball, difficult in the end for Kusumawati, just held up on the pitch there, but the Police SA keeper doing really, really well. And she was put under pressure from Baik Amiatun, who was the goal scorer in that first game. Baik just leaving their rhythm, and a good turn there. And the first shot in anger from Indonesia. Comfortable for Kusumawati. I think she'd be happy keepers sometimes. It's very, very good as they build here. And now putting pressure on the Singaporean defense. Baik Amiatun stings the palms of Kusumawati. And danger signs for Singapore. Danger is really of their own making. Fatin very aware. Oh, twisting, turning, but just crowded out of it. Singapore really struggling to get the ball. Oh, well done there from Laila Tan to win it back. But it's always that second ball for Singapore that seems to find an Indonesian. As Vivi now for Indonesia comes forward. Lots of space for her to come into as well. A very familiar pattern to this game developing, much like the first one. As Kusumawati hesitated a little bit. Having a go at the assistant. She is a very vocal goalkeeper, Kusumawati. And you can see what she was complaining about there. The foot was left in. Need a victory here in this game. There's a deflected shot collected by Kusumawati. This, of course, the second of 2 games being played in this group. There was originally supposed to have 4 teams, but North Korea and Iraq chose not moments on the break. But really, Indonesia were good value for that victory. Via a Baik Amiatun goal from a corner. They did threaten quite a bit from set pieces, which is something that I'm sure Coach Stefaneng has worked on in these few days. And that'll be a free kick for Indonesia. Tiadarti and Rani standing over the ball. Will this be the opening goal for Indonesian? Tiadarti goes for a direct attempt. Almost catches Kusumawati out. It will be a corner for Indonesia. Kusumawati doing well in the end. Alert to it. Under pressure. Getting the ball back for Singapore, but they give it straight back to the Indonesians, who a loose ball there. It looked like an elbow on Dorcas, who went down. His old second cap. She plays for Busora Sports Club. Is the ball lifted in. Chance now for Venetia. It goes just wide. It's still bobbling around in the box. Lila making a nuisance out of herself. Just catching the Indonesian player there, but encouraging signs from the Lionesses. Very good ball played in from the set piece. There's Lila just a little over exuberant there, catching the Indonesian player. Releases Danelle, but oh, good work. Great work from Vivi Octaviani to step in and win the ball, stepping forward as well, but that's a centre-back's ball that's been played. There's Fatin taking the safety first approach, putting it out of play. Vivi Ottaviani doing really well. Step forward, win that ball. Barely played any football in the last 2 years and just come and done so well here on such a huge stage. Corner now for Indonesia. They're a huge threat in that first game, but oh, good defending from Singapore. Another bite of the cherry for it. Straight into the grateful arms of Kusumawati. Looking to release it early. She's been solid today on Ernie Sulastri. Another corner for Indonesia. Rani will deliver. 6 in the box for Indonesia. High ball delivered in, still bobbling around. Danger not over for Singapore, and it creeps in. Once more being undone by a set piece. As Kusumawati hangs her head low, She knows that might be a hammer blow here today. But they just couldn't clear their lines here, Singapore. Did really well there for Hana, stopping that one. But ultimately, just being unable to clear the ball, hurting the Lionesses. They were all lining up to take a shot. Square it for a teammate. With the eyes lit up. She looks for her second of the game. And Singapore committed to that short ball now. Nice touch. Oh, great turn from Lila. Donnell now. Stopped in the tracks though. By this. We just checked it, but has done well to keep it in for Hana. Stephanie Dominguez was coming in. The late run from the left, but much better from Singapore. Probably the best passenger play thus far in this game. For Hana doing ever so well to keep it in. I guess from that angle, cross out of trouble. Let's see the Indonesian coach. We have played the allotted 2 minutes of added time. Adi Mustiakiana, the Indonesian captain, who's been very assured at the back. As the referee calls time on that first half. First half that has put Indonesia in the driver's seat to qualify for the Women's Asian Cup. Stephanie Dominguez came on just as the goal was conceded on her birthday. You can see the Indonesians, the body language is much better as they trudge in for the break. For Singapore, they'll need to find a way to dig deep and somehow try to conjure something up in these next 45 minutes. For Indonesia, they're sitting pretty. Once more, hello and welcome back to Dushanbe in Tajikistan. The Central Republican Stadium as Indonesia take on Singapore for the AFC Women's Asian Cup Group C qualifiers. And a group that was supposed to feature 4 teams, but now only features 2 teams, which is a straight shootout now between Indonesia and Singapore. Indonesia won that first game 1-0. They are leading 1-0 here. Both goals conceded from corners. We see watching it live on the FAS's Facebook and YouTube. I must have said, great initiative from the FAS to allow people to support the Lionesses on this journey. It's been a long road for them to get to Tajikistan. It's been more than 2 years since they played a competitive game. They haven't played a league match for a long time as we're underway here in the second half. Coach Stefanang, I'm sure he's tried to rally the troops in that halftime interval. The equation, as we've said, is very simple. If it stays like this, Indonesia will go through. A draw not good enough for Singapore either. They'll need to score 2 goals at least to push it to a penalty shootout. Adi Mustakiana, the Indonesian captain, who starts a lot of these attacks. Almost plays as a libero. Tiadarti. Oh, nice turn there from Zara. And putting Fatin under pressure. Still going, Zara. And again, this is what we saw a lot of in that first half. Zara Muzdalifa, she is the poster girl for this Indonesian side, but it was Fatin just dwelling on the ball there, not clearing her lines. Oh, great pace shown inside the Zara. Oh, Kusumawati wasn't sure, was she? A much more open game now in the second half. Oh, this is a great turn from Zara. Completely wrong footing Venetia. Facing up to Shazwani. Zara. Ernie Sulastri. She's given the ball. She's given a free kick away. In a dangerous position, especially because this hasn't been their strong suit, defending set pieces. Maybe just frustration boiling over there for Ernie Sulastri. Can't really argue that decision. They have substitution for the Indonesians. Dewi Tia coming on for the goal scorer. Okta. Now, free kick in a very dangerous area for the Indonesians. Try to go straight for goal. Kusumawati does well. Trying to catch Kusumawati out. Question that decision. Like they had so much. It's Captain Adi. Oh, great turn there from Zara. Beautiful 1-2. Zara's bearing down on goal. Switches it across. Oh, she plays it over the bar. Baik Amiyato with a glorious chance to make it 2-0. This was lovely work from Zara. Unselfishly laid it across into the path of Baik Amiyato. Gave Zara a little glimmer of hope, but Kusumawati, who is very quick off a line, as we've seen multiple times. Danelle. Danya. Tried to play in the early cross, but straight to the Indonesian goalkeeper Fani. Can they survive the threat of this set piece? And you know what? I almost creeped in once more. Nohiati there with the touch. Looked a well-worked corner straight off the training ground. The flick on. And oh, just there. It wasn't far away. More substitutions for the Indonesians. Sabrina Mutiara on for Safira.
Substitution for Indonesia. Player number 13, Safira Ika Putri, replaced by player number 5, Sabrina Ika.
Sabrina started that first game, and it'll be Nella on for Vinny Sofanius. Young Vinny Sofanius. Gotta commit forward now, Singapore. It's almost creeped in there. The cross put in. Zara was running onto it. Both her and Kusumawati missed it, and it almost just creeped in. Oof, hairy moments there for Singapore. Kusumawati will now slowly work it forward. Oh, once more, great skill there shown. They are a very skillful bunch of players. It must be said, these Indonesians. Technically, they've been very impressive. Tactically as well, on how they move the ball around. credit to Rudy Eka Priyambada, who, like Coach Stefanung, only took over this side at the start of the year. A very well-traveled coach, Rudy, who's been in Australia. I also spent time in Bahrain, as he looks now to be leading the Indonesian women's side to the AFC Asian Cup. The first time they would qualify since 1989. So this will be some achievement for the Garuda Pertiwi. Okay, we will get 2 minutes of added time here. Adi, the Indonesian captain, swing it in. Trying to catch Kusumawati off a line, who knows, gotta get it down the pitch quick. Pressure being put on the Indonesian defense. It's resulting in a turnover. Farhana. And eventually the Indonesians clear. The need to get the ball up the pitch quick, Singapore, to at least try to get a point from these games. Won't have much time left, as it looks likely the Indonesia, and indeed they have qualified for the Asian Cup in this Group C qualifiers. You can see what it means to Zara, who really has been the standout player for this Indonesian side. And you can see there, Dorcas Chu, the emotions getting the better of her. She's run her heart out in this second half. Farhana as well, who was a big bright spot in this second half for Singapore. But ultimately, it is the Indonesians who have tasted victory here over the course of 2 games. Tough for these Lionesses to take, but it was in tough circumstances that they've gone over to Tajikistan, all the way to Dushanbe, to take on the Garuda Pertiwi. As you can see, Noor Hidayu, 17 years old. She made her debut and did really well in their first game. Coach Stefanung said it was the best debut he'd ever seen. Today as well, she's been very, very solid at the back. And she will learn from this, as will the rest of the Lionesses, who can hold their head up high here. As the Indonesians celebrate, they admittedly, you would say, were the better team over the course of the 2 games. And in the end, the difference was the defending at set pieces. Both goals conceded by Singapore coming from corners. So unfortunate. But at this level, mistakes get punished. But it will be something for the Lionesses to learn from. I'm sure a lot of positives to take from this. Both matches were competitive, only 1-0 each. As we await to hear from both coaches. As you can see, Noor Hidayu there, still overcome with emotion. But there's no shame from her, any of these Lionesses really, in trying circumstances to go this far, to put on that jersey, and they've definitely put in a good shift. You can't fault the effort. And they will come back stronger from this. for Indonesia. What a result for them as well. Having last qualified in 1989. And they'll be going to India next year for the AFC Women's Cup. And it is a tournament as well that does have a lot of places up for grabs for World Cup qualification. 5 teams qualify to the World Cup directly from the Asian Cup. And there's still space for another 2 teams that will go into a playoff. So credit to the Indonesians over the course of these 2 games, having won 1-0 both times against the Singapore. To hear from the Indonesian coach.
Congratulations in the qualifying final stage. Comments to this one.
Sorry, what's the question? Oh, just saying. Actually, I'm so speechless. I don't know what to say, but I'm very happy that we did it. Not just only because we're team, is 11 players and with the coaches as well, the official, of course, and family in the house in Indonesia, and people out there who are always supporting us. I just want to say thank you so much for always supporting Indonesia from the first game and the second game. And look, finally we did it because of their support. So, thank you so much.
And you can see just how happy Zara Muzdalifa is, as we will hear now from Rudy Eka Priyambada.
First of all, congratulations in the qualifier final stage.
Thank you.
And you comment to this.
I have amazing feeling. So I think the player already do their best. They do the instruction. So we did it. We make it come back again. Since 30 years we're not playing in the Asian Cup. I think we are lucky now. We try to the best play in the Asian Cup.
Which player you team is best? How much?
All player the best for me. For the special Zahra. Zahra, she do pressing. She will do running all the time for 90 minutes. I think I have to do a lot homework for the next.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And you can see how much it means to Rudy and just all these Indonesian players.